Hey everybody, this is Dan. Today I'd like to share an endgame puzzle with everybody. And I took this puzzle from a really good endgame book called Silman's Complete Endgame Course, which was written by International Master Jeremy Silman, who has been one of the most respected chess authors for quite some time. He's also very well known for writing the book How to Reassess Your Chess, which deals more with middle game play and different imbalances that take place in the middle game. But his endgame course obviously focuses on the endgame. So this particular puzzle comes from that book. And I won't go into too much detail or too much theory. If you want to study the endgame in a more structured and detailed way, I definitely recommend picking up Silman's book. It'll take you through stuff in a really logical and effective manner. But in any case, this particular endgame is interesting because it's white to play here. And almost always, if a player has a king, a lone king, and one minor piece, so knight or bishop, it would be impossible to checkmate the opposing player's king. Interestingly enough, actually, two knights and a king are also not sufficient to force mate against a lone king. But in this particular position, you may look and say, okay, white's got a knight and a king, so there's no way that checkmate is possible. But this happens to be an exception to the rule. And you'll notice when you start to study endgames that when there's a rook pawn involved, that is an A pawn or an H pawn, a pawn on one of the two sides of the board, that all sorts of exceptions tend to happen. And if you read Silman's book, you'll see lots of stuff about that. So anyway, the bottom line here is that it's white to play, and white has a forced checkmate in 3 moves. So mate in 3 for white. Take a look at the position and see if you can figure out how white can force mate in 3 moves. Pause the video if you need to, and then when you're ready, feel free to press play and hear the solution. Okay, so the first move for white here is king to c2, and when you look at this move, what it does is white's king is opposing black's king, so the white king blocks the black king from b1, b2, and b3, and obviously black's pawn is blocked by its own king, which leaves black with only one legal move, which is king to a1. After which, white plays a really clever move, knight to c1. This move does 2 things. One is it blocks the black king from going to the a2 square, since the knight directly attacks that a2 square. And the second thing is that the knight prepares to jump to b3, where it will be able to check the king. So the move knight to c1 is a dual-purpose move that prevents the king from going to a2 and allows the knight to then transition to b3. And what happens here in this position is black is left once again with only one legal move, since the king has no legal moves. The white king blocks b1 and b2, the white knight blocks a2. So the pawn, the black pawn on a3, is forced to advance 1 square to a2. And from here, white simply moves the knight up to b3, as I mentioned before, and since the king is blocked by its own pawn on a2, this is checkmate and white wins. So this is just kind of a cute, funny situation in which the lone knight and the king are actually able to force a checkmate in 3. It's very rare that you'll actually see this happen. I just thought it was kind of an interesting little puzzle that you can use to kind of see if your friends can get it, or just test anyone you know that likes chess, see if they can figure out how to mate here. So once again, the solution is king to c2, forcing black king to a1, white plays knight to c1, forcing black pawn to a2, and then knight plays knight to b3, checkmate. So that's all for this puzzle, and I'm definitely I'm on pace to do one video a week. That's my resolution for 2013. So look for at least one video to come out every week. And if there's any questions, comments, any ideas you have for me, I'd love to hear from you guys. Feel free to leave comments or just send me a message. I'm also on Facebook under the Chess Classroom, so you can check that out. Feel free to subscribe and like the video or any other video on my channel. So yeah, I'll leave you guys there. Thanks so much for watching, and I will share another video soon. Thank you very much.